Incremental readings. So let's cover what's called the minimum cost principle in incremental reading. Or in plain English, being lazy, but in a smart way. You will understand why by the end of the video. What is the goal of learning with incremental reading? The minimum cost principle. You want to achieve the maximum result with the minimum effort possible. This is not just with the spaced repetition, keeping whatever you learned in the long-term memory. The learning process is also the minimum. So, in learning, this means getting the most knowledge, which is already a thing, and then keeping it, the part with the spaced repetition, with the least amount of wasted cognitive energy, time commitment, and all of that. It's not about being slothful. It's about being ruthlessly efficient. It's not that I'm lazy that I do nothing. Doesn't go that way. Then, the lazy approach to Supermemo, or to actually reading. What if being lazy is the smartest way to learn? Incremental reading can be seen as a form of a strategic laziness. That, hey, I'm doing this repetition, I'm bored, or it's super tedious, I move on and I do another rep for the next outstanding element, right? It's just using this laziness strategically. Then it challenges the idea that the more effort, the more time, and the more linear focus always leads to better results. This is not always the case, and you should be surprised, especially for incremental problem solving, that you let it slip. I don't get the result. It's not a big deal. I sleep on it, and tomorrow, next week, or whatever is boom. Now I got a solution, without almost any effort extra being added. So progress isn't made for early risers. It's made by lazy men trying to find easier ways to do something. That's a quote from Robert Heinlein. Progress isn't made by early risers, people who wake up super early in the morning, perhaps even before the sun rises. No. It's for lazy men trying to find easier ways to do whatever. Then, let's go more into the traditional reading methods, working hard instead of smart. Usually in the school, you will have taught this method, the hard working, right? You read a book, or an article from start to finish, perhaps even you reread more than once. You try to absorb everything in one go, in one shot. Like if it was a movie, at the end of the movie is, no, you have to tell me everything in detail, before moving on. And then hope you remember the important parts, which is just a hope, you're going to forget it anyways, without spaced repetition. So what's the cost of traditional reading? High effort, massive time commitment for a single topic, and most of the information is forgotten in a few days or weeks. Then it's turn for the incremental reading, the lazy revolution. This is the strategically lazy method. You look for the easiest effective path. So what's the process? You import dozens or hundreds of articles, even thousands. You read only small chunks, interesting pieces of that article at a time, of the few dozen of hundreds you read. The rest will be waiting. They are diminishing return already. Then you switch to small pieces of another article on a different topic, what is called interleaving. And then you extract only the most valuable sentences or facts that they provide value. From the most valuable to the less and less until the machine returns will create. You don't even read that to begin with. Or you don't create the flashcard at the end of the day because you don't actually see it again, ever. So this laziness is intentionally not enforcing yourself to finish anything. It's just incremental. Yeah, one step more, but it's one more and that's it. I go by chunks. And with time, with chunking this down, I will get most of the value first, from a lot of different sources. And since I keep importing different sources, I always get most of the value of my time. I use the laziness strategically. So you avoid the hard work of a linear reading and letting the system, in this case spaced repetition, manage the details that, hey, you are going to see this just before you forget and all of this. So then, how this laziness creates efficiency? Minimizes wasting effort. That is a key. Most of the time, it's not that it's quicker and faster, it's that you prevent a lot of effort to begin with. It's not that this effort is done faster, it's actually not done. It's not wasted. So you don't waste time on low value paragraphs, filler content, concepts you already understand, that you don't need to review again, and so on. Because you will review what you need. What is harder for you will be more frequent, and what is easier will be less frequent. Need cherry picking to the individual flashcard, not just by theme or like that. Then, since you trust the algorithm fights the forgetting automatically for you. So instead of you, as a user, as a reader, working to remember, a spaced repetition algorithm does the heavy lifting for you. So your only worry is about understanding and showing up during the repetitions of what is scheduled, at least to some degree of what's called the priority protection. Of the top 5% of the most important stuff and so on, or top 10, 20, whatever you can afford. And it reduces cognitive load. Because you break down information into small chunks, you avoid the mental exhaustion that comes with long, monotonous reading sessions. That is perhaps even as interesting for you. And it's novel, but it's too much, right? It's It's like instead of watching a movie, you watch 4 entire seasons of a TV show. So imagine watching, I don't know, Game of Thrones, 4 seasons in one go. It's too tedious, too long, too much, right? Then, the minimum cost payoff. That's an analogy with the lazy investor. A hardworking investor might try to time the market daily, spending hours on research and high stress and mixed results, like micromanaging, right? Where to put the money, the precise timing, and all of that. A lazy investor instead sets up automatic, diversified investments here and there, not always in the same place, and let grow over time with a minimal intervention. I will check next month how it's this going and so on. My time commitment is minimal. Perhaps the investor is not going to maximize the results, but it's going to maximize the ratio of investment versus time. So incremental reading is the lazy investor of learning. You set up the system, feed it information, I want to read this, I want to learn about that. Trust the process, the algorithm especially, to build knowledge automatically, incrementally, and efficiently. So conclusion, the smartest work is less work. Incremental reading is not about avoiding learning. It's about avoiding ineffective learning. You avoid low quality, low efficiency. So by embracing the lazy methodology, doing less more often, so more incremental at the end of the day, and only in the most important parts, you align perfectly with the minimum cost principle. You will achieve superior long-term knowledge for a fraction of the brute force effort required by traditional methods. It's a win-win in any dimension. In every single dimension, you win. You'll remember more quantity. You'll remember better. You'll remember for longer. You'll learn more stuff, not just that you remember it, that you are aware of that. You have processed most useful information. You will be able to apply more knowledge than the traditional methods. And it will have been easier to do. And you will have spent less time overall. Win, win in every single dimension. The only dimension that is temporary, that doesn't win, is the learning curve. Getting used to the technique of, or the method of incremental reading. Just that. So that has been the minimum cost principle in incremental reading, also known as being lazy. See you incrementally.